it is better to give someone, or your family for that matter, the resources and knowledge to help them build something of their own instead of always providing and giving. So, being with a foreigner for a long time, I have seen and experienced things that are so different from the culture that I grew up. And there are things that we Filipinos do that are also shocking for foreigners and vice versa. So, in this episode, I am going to talk about the things that shocked or surprised me as a Filipina being married to a foreigner, and the things that my husband does or did before that I find weird and different at the same time. These are just my experiences and the things that other Filipinos share as well. So, just a reminder, I am not trying to generalize that all foreigners do this and that all Filipinos experience this, because we are all different and we have different backgrounds and personalities. So, if you are the type of Filipina or foreigner for that matter who gets offended so easily, just move on to the next video. I'm not targeting you. Growing up in the Philippines, we Filipinos grew up with a different way to clean ourselves after we do the deed in the bathroom. And we have a bidet at home, or we use a pail and dipper. So the first time I was with my husband, I was shocked to the core because he used toilet paper only to clean himself. Of course, as a Filipina, I think to myself that he's weird, because why on earth would he not use water to clean himself? He has a bidet in the bathroom, but he used toilet paper instead. So I thought that maybe he'll clean up with water next time. So I just shrugged off the idea in my mind, and I didn't have the guts to ask him the question because, as a Filipina, it is not normal to ask things that are different or uncomfortable. Plus, this was at the start of our relationship, so I was really shy when I was with him. So, Filipinos do usually avoid confronting or asking things that are considered taboo or impolite. But when we went to the store to do some shoppings, I was surprised as to why he bought lots of toilet paper. I understand if he just buy like maybe one or two toilet paper, but he bought like 12 toilet papers. So after that, I finally have the guts to ask him the question, and well, he told me that that's what you guys use to clean yourself. So also during the pandemic, I've seen a lot of videos where people panic buying toilet paper. So, well, I guess that's just how it is. But now I just want to mention that I influenced my husband into using a bidet. Yay! So, another thing that is new to me when I am with my husband is that he's very meticulous with money. And people around us, especially on YouTube, may think that my husband is cheap or kuripot or stingy in English. But I suppose that's the difference between spending monies on things that aren't necessities and calling yourselves wealthy. I think that my husband is being practical and wise with our finances, which I really appreciate and admire. And it is a good balance to my tendency to be more impulsive with spending sometimes. Anyhow, growing up here in the Philippines, especially if you don't have lots of money or that you just live paycheck to check on a day-to-day basis, we buy the things that we need for that day and not think of tomorrow. Also, for us Filipinos, if we get our salary, some of us, we tend to spend it up like a one-day millionaire, as we call it. So when I first dated my husband, I was surprised to know that he was very careful with his spending and always made sure to save up for the future. And it is a new perspective for me to see someone who prioritizes financial stability and planning ahead. And it is very surprising for me as a Filipina because I was used to the mentality of living in the moment and not worrying about saving for the future. However, seeing my husband's responsible approach to finances of planning ahead and being financially prepared for whatever may come our way, his motto is plan for the worst and hope for the best. And maybe that's one of the reasons why he retired so early, or that other foreigners have the means to retire early compared to many Filipinos. Also, I just want to point out that here in the Philippines, the reason why Filipinos stay where they are is because of this mentality that if you have the means to help your family who are struggling, you should help them. Well, I guess that's why Filipinos, well, some of them, or maybe most of them, don't have savings or any emergency funds and will forever stay in a situation that is not ideal. I mean, don't get me wrong, you should help your family who are struggling, but I do believe in a saying, you can lead the horse to the water, but you cannot force the horse to drink the water. So for me, it is better to give someone, or your family for that matter, the resources and knowledge to help them build something of their own instead of always providing and giving. And the third thing that is shocking to me as a Filipina being married to a foreigner is that my husband is very curious about everything. And I mean everything. And this is what I noticed about other foreigners as well, and the difference between Filipinos, including myself, and foreigners. Because foreigners do tend to be curious about everything. I mean, foreigners always ask things that don't make sense to them. The curiosity and the thirst for knowledge is something new to me as a Filipina because, again, growing up, we don't tend to ask a lot of questions to our parents or to anybody about anything. Maybe other Filipinos have this curiosity character, but I reckon for most Filipinos, we tend to keep things to ourselves, even though there are things that can pique our curiosity. We just let things be the way they are and don't bother to ask further. We avoid things that are uncomfortable for us or for others, and we just don't ask questions. That's it. So that's the other thing that I notice about my husband and any other foreigners whom I encounter, is that their curiosity level is beyond what I'm used to. They ask freely and are not afraid to seek out information. Lastly, I noticed that foreigners can be very straightforward with everything. Here in the Philippines, we grew up thinking that it is impolite to ask too many questions or to be direct. We grew up thinking that we needed to prioritize other people's feelings and avoid things that could hurt the person. And foreigners, on the other hand, they're more comfortable with being upfront and honest in their communication. The first time I experienced my husband being upfront was when we went for dinner and the waitress got my orders wrong and gave me something else. And of course, as a Filipina, I do not want to complain or anything like that. So I just let it be the way it is. However, Paul being Paul, he called the waitress and told her that my food was not what I ordered. I kind of reacted differently because I thought that the waitress might get hurt or mad because of me. But Paul insisted, so I gave in. Another experience I had with my husband, who is very confrontational and upfront, was when somebody made nasty comments about my relationship with him. You know how jealous people are. So they made these nasty comments, and they are young adults. So it's just the level of jealousy is beyond me. Anyway, so they made these nasty comments and they were talking about my husband being a sugar daddy whatsoever. And they say it out loud to the point that I could hear them. And of course, I didn't want to approach them or talk to them for that matter, because I do not want to escalate things. So instead, I told my husband about it, but it was a wrong move because he tried to approach them and talk to them. But the thing is, I just pulled my husband away from them because, of course, I didn't want to escalate things further. But, I appreciated him trying to stand up for me in that situation. And I've seen and heard foreigners being straightforward, which is not common in my culture, by the way. So, yeah, I think that's it. That's all the things that are new to me as a Filipina being married to a foreigner. And I'm sure there are other things that are also new to other Filipinos as well. But I cannot think of anything else. So with that, I am going to end my video. And it's been a while now since I had my this kind of video. So yeah, so I'm excited to upload more videos like this. And hopefully you guys will continue to support me. And don't forget to like and share this video. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.